Hello, everybody. I have a very important but pretty succinct video for you guys. I wanted to talk about YouTube networks, and the game in the background, by the way, is just WoW stuff. I'm doing my emissaries. I needed to give you guys something to watch while I talk about this, but I wanted to talk about YouTube networks. If you don't know what a YouTube network is, it is basically a company that handles several things. It's like a manager for some kind of artist or anything like that. Like if you're a musician, you have a manager. That's kind of what a YouTube network is to some degree. So they pay you. So the ad revenue that you get from YouTube goes from YouTube to the network, and then you get whatever percentage you agreed upon when you signed a contract with that network. And you get paid by them. They often give you brand deals, or in some cases, you have tools like music tools, so you can get music that isn't going to copyright claim on all of your videos. And that's another thing they do, is they also protect you from copyright claims, from mass copyright claims that are unfounded. And those are really important, because if you get too many of those, YouTube can just like randomly shut down your channel. So the networks protect you from that kind of thing. And that should all sound fairly well and good, and things that as a YouTuber you would want. But the reality of the situation is most YouTube networks bite off way more than they can chew, and they sign on a ton of people who have smaller channels, but they never end up supporting those people. They never end up promoting the channels or doing anything like that. And in our case, we've been signed with Maker Studios for 5 years, since 2012. And last year, I was trying to get out of the contract. I got to it a little later than I thought I could. So the contract had already renewed, which it auto does every year. So I was kind of too late on that, and I had to wait until this following year to cancel it. But my idea there is I didn't want to be a part of Maker Studios anymore, because they weren't providing me with enough of a service. So I talked to someone I trust a lot, and someone who's way better at all of this than I do, or than I am. And he told me a very important thing. He said, you can't sign with a network and expect them to do nothing, because you are a valuable person to them. You are a content creator. If they aren't providing you with enough of a service in return, they are taking advantage of you. And I thought about that when he told me this last year. And I realized something, that, yeah, in our case, we are being taken advantage of. Maker Studios takes a percentage of our profit, a non-insignificant amount. I can't tell you how much percent, because that's based on our contract, but a non-insignificant amount. And that reduces the amount of income we're getting, so that reduces the amount of cool things we can do for the channel. Just period. Like that's how that trickles down. And in that case, I was considering, well, what do they provide in return for that insignificant amount of money, or that non-insignificant amount of money, rather? And they pretty much provide nothing. We get that music service, which is okay. I use some of that music, but not a lot. They provide a couple other tools which are fairly useless for us, and they provide protection from copyright claims. That's the biggest one that they offer us, but they don't promote our channel at all, and they don't promote any small channels, or any really at all when you think about it. So I wanted out of the contract. I wanted out of it because I wasn't getting anything out of it in return. I wasn't being benefited by essentially paying them for nothing. So again, last year I tried to get out of that contract. I was too late to it, but we had a bit of a godsend. As of this month, Maker Studios is releasing a large portion of their content creators out of contracts. So at the end of the month, I will no longer be with Maker Studios, which is good for us, because again, I was trying to already get out of it. Bad for some people if you were wanting to be with Maker Studios and you didn't make the cut, but it works out in our favor. So this means two major things that are going to affect the channel. The first is I will have a bigger bottom line. So I will be making more money, because I am not going to sign with another studio at this point. I will talk about that at the end of the video, but I don't see a reason to be signing with anyone right now. The second thing is probably more immediate and actually affects you guys in a more direct way, which is that Maker was helping me, and I can't go into the details here. And as I said before, the last time we talked about this, it's just like I can't talk about it. But what was happening essentially is a group of people were trying to claim some of my Star Wars videos, which was causing a huge snafu on YouTube's end. They were getting upset with us. But it was very clear that these videos are mine because they have my voice in it, and I could talk directly to YouTube and be like, these are clearly mine, but it got caught up in that bureaucracy. So Maker was helping me make sure that those videos get unclaimed by these people and that they continue to generate revenue for me, one, and two, don't cause any copyright strikes with YouTube, which if you reach a certain amount of those, YouTube will just shut down your channel. It's like an automated thing. It's a switch that flips. So I've been trying to avoid that. Obviously, that would be a really bad thing. Now, in this case, without Maker, because they've been helping us do this, and this was not necessarily a direct thing that they were like constantly talking to me about. They were more or less just like a big bodyguard standing over me. So the people who were doing this were not necessarily afraid. They were just waiting. They were waiting for their moment, really. And this would normally be that perfect time for them to strike and just get a ton of copyright claims. And I don't know why they do this. I don't know why people think that this is something that's going to benefit them. Maybe they just have a grudge against it. I don't understand what it is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it does not matter. But what does matter is without Maker Studios, that is in jeopardy. Until I came up with a really clever solution that is currently in the works. I'm working with someone else that is fixing this. And again, can't really give any details, especially because the people who are claiming the videos probably watch this kind of stuff. And it's kind of like a game of chess. So I want to be one step ahead of them. But overall, the channel will be fine because I have a solution that is going to be fixed. That said, that is why the Star Wars stuff is supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago, still hasn't come out. Because at the end of the day, I've been dealing with this stuff in the background. Now that I can say that I am no longer going to be with Maker Studios and that I have a solution to fix the SWTOR stuff, I can say that it should be out or it should start going out at the beginning of April, based on when I'm out of the contract with Maker and when this other thing starts taking place. So I still will be able to get Star Wars. It just now needs to be delayed because I have to wait for the Maker contract to break and for me to do this other thing. I know that is all very vague, but I needed to let you guys know this. I wanted to be transparent with like what's going on in the background and why this stuff is not working the way I want it to. And honestly, this Star Wars series has just been a headache since the beginning it began. That was very redundant, but since the beginning of starting it, it was just like, it's just 100 things that keep going wrong with it. And it's just not getting any better, which is really frustrating. But I'm now, because I'm a stubborn person, I'm now determined to get it out. So I've been working harder than ever to fix this stuff on the back end. But if you're a person who has a YouTube channel or aspire to be someone who has a YouTube channel, let me give you a bit of advice. Do not sign with a network, period. You're fine without it. A network typically will not respect you as a creator because they want money. They are a business. And most of these networks are a large entity that can't service their different content creators individually. So they can't do that on an individual basis. It's on a mass production basis, and it doesn't work. The system has proven broken because many people who were with studios like Maker Studios have since left, and they're on their own now. And they're doing fine, and they're proving that it is fine. And YouTube has been looking at those people going, oh, that's really interesting. So networks aren't necessary anymore, which is good for YouTube because that's less bureaucracy really for them to have to worry about to some extent. On the other side of things, it was a little easier just to deal with a network rather than 10,000 channels and stuff like that. So for us, we don't see a reason to sign with a network because it needs to be a network that is giving us a significant service in return, or it needs to be a network that is providing us with something that is of equal value up to the money that they are taking out of, the profits. So if you are a YouTuber, again, who is starting a YouTube channel, just don't sign with a network. It's not needed anymore, not in this day and age, unless you find something that is going to give you a significant return and is going to promote your channel. And also completely avoid all these really tiny networks that you've never heard of. If you've never heard of it, it's probably a bad idea. That's just like pro tip. But I know that there are some out there that do provide a significant service to their content creators. We just want to be without a network for a bit of time and kind of see how that feels and test the waters. To some extent, that's scary and exciting at the same time, but I don't foresee a future where we're not necessarily never in a network again. If I find one that is worthy of what I think is, good for our channel and good for you guys, then I will do it. But at the end of the day, I'm already getting developers contacting us. I've been sitting on the Drop Zone key, which by the way is a fantastic game, but I've been sitting on it for like a week and a half now. Just because of getting sick and then all of dealing with maker stuff in the background. Like I haven't had time to really deal with putting a video of that up. But people are sending us keys of these really cool games to cover them, and I just need to find the time to actually do it. So why would I join a network if they aren't already giving me that kind of thing? And Maker Studios wasn't. The brand deals they offered were not relevant to you guys. So yeah, it was interesting, but I wanted to get this video out there just to be like, this is what's happening, right? Just, too long, don't watch, which is a little too late now because it's at the end of, anyways, we're leaving Maker Studios, which is good for us. It's good for you guys. And we, because of that, SWOTOR's delayed, and we're going to kind of go into uncharted territory here, being on our own on YouTube for a while, but I think it will work out just fine. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions, please ask, because I know this is a vague topic to talk about, but it was important to actually tell you guys about, and we shall see you guys next time.